I'm going to show you what to expect for the first 2 weeks of February for crypto and Bitcoin price. Are you ready? Let's go. We are on the Bitcoin daily chart. I'm going to show you what it takes for price to get over this yellow moving line, which is the daily 21 EMA, exponential moving average, daily 21. And I have a series of markers down on the daily RSI down here, and then also those markers relate to the same color marker above in price to show you the conditions under which it's statistically likely or not likely for price to be able to have the power to get over this daily 21 marker, which is a very, very key line. If you can't tell, it was pretty much price wrote it down the whole way here, and the large move up in early October happened right at that point, and that's not a coincidence. This fake out to the upside happened just above it, and so this is one of the most important lines in all of crypto and perhaps traditional markets as well. It's definitely a top 5 EMA among all EMAs. Here we go. Typically, to get above this yellow line, you have to set the conditions under which we are talking about. In bull markets, okay, where the trend is strongly up, the RSI of the daily, the indicator down below, typically does not get too much in the red zone. What I'm about to show you is more during daily downtrends where you don't have a higher high and a higher low both at the same time, and these are that is the parameters under which I'm about to show you. So keep this in mind. What the rules here in terms of having a statistical edge or not do not apply during uptrends, all right? Because I mean, during uptrends you have an edge to the upside pretty much the whole damn time, right? Okay. During downtrends, the daily RSI gets a lot lower. And when it gets down into this, see how this zone is red down here, and if I move this up, this zone is green, right? As it gets deeper and deeper in there, the conditions for price to get back above the daily 21 become more and more statistically likely. Essentially, you need a daily higher low on the RSI. And these little squiggles, I'm going to zoom way into the daily RSI here. These little squiggles, this is not a higher low. All right. And as of now, you only have lower lows. It has not come down and to form a higher low. And again, I've covered on my channel a few times. There are two main conditions or three main conditions in which a higher low can be met on the RSI is RSI, which is the green line. And then if I remove the green line, you only see the white line, which is the EMA, which is what remains, right? EMA is white, RSI is green. So condition 1 for Bitcoin to make a higher low on the RSI is RSI hits its head on the EMA, which is the white line, comes back down and kind of squiggles like that. Then it can come up and get above the yellow line back on the price chart. Or price can come above and wick above the or completely come above the EMA and then go back specifically below. If it goes like, if it doesn't have a higher low below the EMA and it goes like this, that still doesn't count as a higher low. It has to come below the EMA to do that. All right, that's essentially version 3. And then version 2 is essentially like this, a wick above. A wick above, it essentially bumps its head and then forms a higher low, and then it can have statistically the umph in order to get above the EMA. All right, now we're going to check this out on price, and I'm going to show you what I think of current price action, and we're going to relate that so we can have a strong idea of what to expect for the first 2 weeks of February, because this is the daily chart, and for things to build up, it takes multiple days, which is likely going to run into the first 2 weeks. And a heads up, I don't think that Bitcoin has in it what it needs to hit 43K, despite that gray trend line. This gray trend line, it really looks like price wants to come up and get this. And I did a Twitter post on this. It looks like this week, this could be the target, which goes back to the 64K top. Do you see that? And it got this top back here at 50K, right? It's a very important line. I don't think it's going to get, I don't think it's going to get it on this first try, and I'm getting ready to show you why. Before we move on to that, I need you to quickly take a second, flip your phones or get flipped off, flip your phone vertically, hit the like button for you. It helps me to continue making videos for it. And also what helps me out quite a bit, if you leave a random comment down below, it helps the algo. That kind of rhymes. I did that on purpose if you couldn't tell. A little corny. But yeah, but take this time to leave me a quick comment and And then for newer folks, if you like the analysis style that I have, hit subscribe and make sure when you do, hit the bell and specifically select all alerts because this is time-sensitive information. Allow me to deliver it to you as such. Let's dive back into the charts and figure out what the heck is going to likely be happening in the first 2 weeks of February. Follow me on Twitter at @CosasVerdes2 with Cosas Verdes with the number 2 afterward. Frequent Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and altcoin updates. Turn on your camera and microphone and ask me questions directly in live up to 8 times a week. Links to the Discord community within the description section of all my videos. If you don't have the time commitment to join an online community, but you want exclusive content up above and way beyond what I offer on free content for YouTube, hit the join button below this video and another video will pop up describing your options to you. All right, I'm on the left side now. All right, here we go. This is why I don't think this is going to happen. Check out all these past times that Bitcoin, didn't even make a reversal, but was able to get above. This green arrow here indicates that price was able to, let's zoom into that green arrow, that it means that price was able to get above the 21 EMA. Now let's look down below the conditions that it had. Of the 3 types of higher lows that I mentioned earlier, it satisfied one, and it was one. So it had higher lows, lower lows on price, yes, but I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about, in order to get above this, you need higher lows in one of those 3 ways that I mentioned earlier on the RSI, and it did. It had multiple higher lows, and thus was able to get above the yellow line, which is the daily 21 EMA. Here, I'm going to zoom into this area where you had wicks above. Check this out. You only were able to wick above, and guess what was not happening on the RSI? You only had lower lows. Series of lower lows. You see that? That's why this red line is showing you lower lows. Green line with green arrow. Higher highs and then got above. This is just the way it works, with a very, very strong statistical edge. Even this time back here, when it only Bitcoin went from 50K to 40K real fast, scared the crap out of everybody before then racing to 69K back in late September and early October. It's still the first time it tried to get up to this yellow line. Let's zoom in. Watch. It could not get above the yellow line. And what did it not have? It did not have higher lows. Look, the red line. Lower lows. And then after RSI, I'm going to zoom into this part here. Watch. After the RSI filled one of those conditions that I said, it bumps its head, makes a higher low, and then gets back above. That is a higher low indicated by this green line, right? And what was price able to do? It was able to get back above the yellow line. Now, do higher lows guarantee that price has the muster and the strength to get above the yellow line? No. Sometimes you do have a series of higher lows. Look at this. And it still can't get above. Therefore, if you don't have higher lows, the likelihood of getting above is way, 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 way lower. Just because you have higher lows doesn't guarantee that price will have the buy pressure to get above. It simply makes it much more likely. In this case, you had a strong series of higher lows, right? And it still couldn't get above. Look at this point right here, the stop sign. That means it did have a higher low on our side, but it still couldn't get above. Look at that point. Had 1, 2, 3 strong higher lows, and it couldn't get above. See that? And on this time here, it had a series of 4 lows that were higher in a series, and then it was able to get above. And it ultimately ended up failing because it was, a strong downtrend with Wyckoff, all that good stuff. And the evidence is extremely clear in terms of being able to find a statistical edge. I didn't go back much farther in time, but these are pretty dang good examples to show you what it takes for a price to get above. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I think price is going to do as it forms that higher low. And I'm going to switch on two different things on the chart. I'm going to slap on my micro range, my local micro range with exact levels, so you can draw it on your own chart, right? So you don't really see other YouTubers do that much. I'm trying to help you out as much as possible. You can literally follow along and draw this crap on your chart. You might want to do it because it's probably what's about ready to happen with a fairly high likelihood, statistical likelihood. Do I know? Absolutely not. I just know that it's a statistical likelihood of something close to what I'm about to say is going to happen, and you have an edge, right? Like, as in being the house. And the way casinos make money, which a casino is called the house, right? Don't bet against the house. Well, the casinos lose money, in some hours, right? And maybe even in a day here and there sporadically, like a whole day be in the red. But the reason why casinos make so much money is because they have an edge on all the games. Doesn't matter if they lose like $1 million in 1 hour. Who cares? They have an edge over time and they're going to make money. And that's what this is. All right. So instead of saying this is exactly what's going to happen, no, sometimes casinos have a bad hour where they pay out $1 million and they're in the red. Right. And they lost on that hour to the gamblers. But statistically over time, they have the edge. That's why like they're still in existence because they have an unfavorable edge. And here there's an unfavorable or a very favorable edge that price won't get above and stay above this line. Therefore, 43K likely won't, or this trend line here probably won't be hit until a higher low is formed. And what will that do is let's pull on this micro range here. Maybe. Yes. And I would say I'm going to zoom into that and do a lower time frame. Let's go to the 2 hour, take off the EMAs. Check it out. So it looks like it's going to, get a little bit potentially wick above this area here. And because the daily 21, if you want to see that, where that's coming in at, I guess I should have drawn that in. The daily, see that? Daily 21 is in the middle of this pink box. Do you see that? All right. And now I'm going to change, let's just mark it, watch. Something like that. That's where that is. All right, now let's go to the 2 hour chart, take off the EMA. And again, this right in this area, that's the daily 21. And it looks like it could wick significantly above, but very likely it's going to come back down afterward. And once it comes back down, then it's in this range. And if you want to take a second to draw this range on your own chart, pause this video, whatever, I've labeled this mostly for my community and I didn't take them off for YouTube. So whatever, the free, free extra content, whatever. And a lot of my community is playing around with this. This line in the middle here is a monthly horizontal. I think Bitcoin has a strong chance of needing to come back down to this, or at least the point of control, which is this pink box within the whole. So this whole thing is the range, right? And this pink box is the point of control. This is simply a monthly horizontal from previous price action. And if you want to see that, but it is a very important line and it happens to be in the middle of the point of control, therefore increasing the chances of it going to be hit as it's this line right here from these months. See these candles? All right, draw that right over. That's where that's where that horizontal is within the micro range here. And I just don't see a breakout happening. And in terms of pattern traders saying, "Oh, this is going to break up and stuff," it is statistically unlikely to happen. It's not. It's not likely to happen from a statistical standpoint. It doesn't matter what the damn pattern says. There are a lot of pattern traders out there on YouTube. I'm not saying anything wrong. It allows them to conform to rules with risk management. It's not bad. However, in terms of understanding the underlying statistics of the breakout, it's not in the cards right now in terms of having an edge, right? And when this comes back down, in order to form a daily higher low, which is likely, again, because the EMA of the daily went above, the daily's RSI, the green line went above the white line significantly, it needs to come below the EMA, which means the drop is going to be fairly significant, right? I'm not saying some, mass sell-off where it breaks the range, but I would definitely target somewhere around 35K. Or, I would say bare minimum 35.7. No, I would say, 35, this number here, 35,750. That would be my target. And so if, for example, if you want to know some of the things we do within the community here, the exclusive Discord community, I gave them a trade setup video today for my upper two tiers on specifically what I'm looking for in today to finesse an entry of a short. And then as the short, assuming the entry is good, and then I will follow up with that and let them know specifically where I'm going to be taking profit targets and at what levels, so on and so forth. And that's the type of stuff we do. But in very general terms, this is the daily 21. You could get a wick above, maybe bump ahead price on 40K, and I bet it comes up just a little shy, but it could hit 40K on the nose, and it's probably going to be it might be a fast one or a double one. And what I mean is the price path of this, the way Bitcoin likes to get people out of shorts and at the same time lure people into longs so that the big boys can take on more shorts, right? Is is either a quick fake to the upside or a double fake to the upside. And a double one is something like this and this, and then comes down, something to that effect. Or it just goes kablam and bam and boom and comes straight down. Now, I'm not saying the move down will be necessarily fast, but usually the moves up are kind of fast, and it often forms almost like a Batman thing, like a mini Batman with ears and stuff, you know, or a cat or whatever, Catman, Catman, Batman, anyway, and that's one way it does it, and which that sometimes makes it more difficult to get into position, because then a lot of people get scared out or whatever on that second pop up. But that is the two ways that I see this happen: either a quick one, then it comes, you know, down pretty quickly, makes a lower high, then, you know, over time, over the next few days, hits 35.7 to 35K. Something to that effect is the price path with which I would expect this to happen. Now, and again, don't misunderstand the idea that you have a statistical edge and it's statistically unlikely to maintain above. Can it happen? It could happen, particularly because Bitcoin is following traditional markets pretty closely. I mean, it's to the point of stupidity, which and what that means is, you know, traditional markets, the same algorithms and the things so most of trading, right, is not by people clicking, in case you didn't know, right? The vast majority of all trading anywhere in crypto, and I mean even in crypto, is automated orders from some type of input made by a human earlier, right? And Bitcoin is following essentially the inputs made by people earlier from traditional markets. And the reason why this has a chance, you know, to break the odds, it does have a chance, but it's statistically not likely still, is because traditional markets are coming off of a low. Last couple days have been pretty hot, and the traditional market folks could be, their inputs could drag Bitcoin a little bit higher than what is statistically likely, which statistically unlikely to happen does not mean impossible. Therefore, I'm also anticipating, okay, if the statistically unlikely scenario were to happen, you know, what would be the underlying things and what should I look out for, know when to bail? Well, it is fairly possible because traditional markets are coming off a fairly strong bounce, right? And I, you know, even though it's statistically unlikely to get above that yellow line, the daily 21 EMA that I showed at the beginning, it could happen. And I know that the reasons why it could, or the rough, you know, take my best guess of the reasons why. And I know that, hey, I need risk management within there. And that's the risk management strategies are things we cover within the Discord community as well. If you didn't catch my last Bitcoin video, you might want to check out this video right here. And if you want to learn how to set up a chart just like mine, it's a trading view tutorial, 28 minutes. It might be one of the best trading view tutorials you've seen in a bit. If you don't know how to set up a chart, it could drastically change your crypto experience. Click that video and click the circle in the middle. If you haven't subscribed, peace. You just got timified worldwide. Later.